ready. We're ready. Hmm? Shabbat Shalom. Good evening, friends. Thank you. And we're so glad to be together. Apologies to those waiting a little bit, and thank you all for your patience. As we come to our final Shabbat before the Chagim, the final Shabbat before Rosh Hashanah begins in just a few days. As we're ending our year, we're ending 5781. Difficult year, a challenging year. Perhaps we can end it on a positive note. We can let the Shabbat be a Shabbat of peace, Shabbat of rest, Shabbat of quiet. This has been a long year full of obstacles and ups and downs. As it comes to a good close, let's seek a moment of positivity, a moment to look forward to, a moment to welcome forward, a moment to find a bit of joy, a bit of solace, a bit of comfort. For those joining at home, we're so glad you're here. Find a nice quiet spot, a place where you can relax and recline. You can just enjoy the beauty of Shabbat.
We're going to start with the Nigun tonight, just Yai Dai Dai. It's one that we'll be singing a lot during the High Holy Day season, so I figured why not start now and get it into our minds and into our hearts. Yai, yai, dai, 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 yai, dai, 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 yai, dai, 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 yai, yai, ya, da, dai, 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 yai, dai, 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 yai, da, da, dai, 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 yai, da, da, dai, yai, dai, 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 yai, da, dai, 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 yai, da, dee, dee, dai, 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 yai, dai, 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 yai, dai, 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 yai, da, dee, dee, dai, 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 yai, da, dee, dee, dai, 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 yai, da, dee, dee, dai, 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 yai, dai, 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 yai, dai, 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 dai. Oh, ya da da dai da dai dai yo, ya da da dai da dai dai yo, ya da da dai da dai dai yo, dai da dai yo.
Page 2. I'll light our Shabbat candles. We'll bring the warmth of Shabbat in, the light of Shabbat in. Just this beautiful little flicker, this beautiful little flame. Let it glow, let it burn. Let it help us over the next 25 hours find the rest that we seek. Page 2. And those of you at home, we welcome you to light your own Shabbat candles if you choose. Or not. Our toddler was trying to light the Shabbat candles tonight. It was an issue. There we go.
And with that weary flame, which probably also echoes some of our weary spirits as we enter in Shabbat, we hope that warmth grows within us. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
A poem by Marge Piercy called Coming Up on September. Appropriate. Deliberately written for the end of Elul, the end of this month and the new year that approaches. White butterflies with a single black finger paint eyes on their wings, dart and settle, eddy and mate over the green tangle of vines in Labor Day morning steam. The year grinds into ripeness and rots, grapes darkening, pears yellowing, the first Virginia creeper twining crimson, the grasses straw to burn. The new year rises, beckoning across the umbrellas on the sand. I begin to consider my life. What is the yield of my impatience? What is the fruit of my resolve? I turn from frantic white dance over a jungle of productivity, and slowly in a goon slides, cold water down my throat, I rest on a leaf-spotted red. Now is the time to let the mind surge backwards like the raven, loose to see what can feed us. Now is the time to cast the mind forward, to chart an aerial map of the months. The new year is a great door that stands across the evening, and Yom Kippur is the second door. Between them are song and silence, stone and clay pot to be filled from within myself. I will find there both ripeness and rot, what I have done and undone, what I must let go with the waning days, what I must take in, with the last tomatoes on the vine, we harvest the fruit of our lives.
We continue with words of Shalom Aleichem, and I believe they are on page 24. Thank you, Rabbi Jason. And we just bring in that hope for goodness, for the angels, the Spirit, for all of that to just be present with us on this Shabbat. So join with me. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Borachem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni L'Shalom, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Borachem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
We rise together for Baruch Hu, our call to prayer on page 28.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach
Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way in which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sails of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to eternity, you set its course. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course to eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv, Aravim. Page 32.
Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, B'shochveinu v'kumeinu, Nasiach bechukecha, V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, U'v'mitzvotecha, Le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu ve'orech yameinu uvahem nehege yomam yomam v'layla ve'ahavtecha al tasir mimenu le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
I find when I approach Shema sometimes I'm not quite sure how to feel. Do I listen for God and just hear the air conditioning? Do I sit or stand quietly and try to listen for others? Sometimes the melody moves me, and sometimes I just want the quiet. And then the words stand out. To listen. Not listen to the external sounds, but to pay attention. To know, to understand, to be aware. Listen, people of Israel. Listen, the people of Israel. Not just I, but all who are listening as well. I'm not alone. I'm not alone. Listen that there is one God. Listen. Know that what we believe, if we have faith, if this is what we believe, that it's okay. It's okay. You're in challenging moments, sometimes struggle to know what to believe. That's okay. But you're not alone. We're part of the people of Israel. And if we believe in our God, the God is there, listening for us. If it's your tradition to rise for Shema, please do so. Page 34.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
If you're standing, please be seated, and we join with Rabbi Dana and Ve'ahavta on page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Michamocha, found on page 40. A version we've done before, which is nice and fun and meaningful and modern and ancient all at the same time. In the season when we ask God to save us, to redeem us, when time is old, the time is new, redemption song by Bob Marley, Michamocha, from the Song of the Sea.
Oh, me. Uh-oh.
Back chord.
There we go.
That's the key. That's the one.
Oh, me, Chamocha, Va'elim Adonai. Oh, me, Chamocha, Nedar B'Kodesh. Oh, Nora Tehilot. Oh, Sefelet. Oh, Nora Tehilot. Oh, Sefelet. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever had, redemption song, these songs of freedom. Malchutecha ra'u banecha, ukirayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam. Oh, ze Eli ve'anu ve'ameru. Oh, ze Eli anu ve'amru. Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever had, redemption song, these songs of freedom. 'Cause all I ever had, redemption song, these songs of freedom, redemption song.
I love that version.
Felt like it was a good way to have this Shabbat, especially with everything going on in the
I
world.
think
right?
so. It's uplifting. I don't think Bob Marley ever wrote a sad song.
I don't think it was possible for him
I don't
to.
think it's possible. I think there were circumstances that prevented him from being sad.
Well, he is a great teacher on the practice of joy.
That is very true. Anywho, we continue with our service with our Amidah, our standing prayer for those who choose and are able to stand. We continue on page 46, and if it is your tradition to rise, please do so. We'll pray the next few pages together as one community.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up our lips that our mouths may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, ve'Koneh HaKol, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Take a few moments for our own silent prayer and reflection. Once you've completed the time that you need, please be seated.
יהיו לרצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי וגואלי אדוני צורי וגואלי. May the words of my mouth be acceptable to you, the meditations of my heart be pleasing unto you. O God, my rock and my redeemer, may the words of my mouth, the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, O God.
Page 253. Prayer for healing. Mishaberach Lecholim. Those joining at home are welcome to add into the chat. Those here, we're welcome to share our names. Think of those who are ill, those who struggle, those who care and help others and are grateful to them as well. Think of those who battle this past week, those who have battled in Louisiana, on the East Coast, in Ida and its aftermath, in Oregon and California with the fire still, in Haiti, and the people whose lives continue to be challenges, whether in Syria, Afghanistan, and all those who struggle with discrimination and hatred each day. Well, the new things that might plague us might be numerous, but our hope and our determination and our commitment to one another be even stronger. So even as we call out names for those who seek to heal, our love and our care for all of them will not diminish. We'd like to add a name for those who are in healing and welcome you to do so at this time.
We're going to go without it.
Dear God of our ancestors, help us renew our faith. Grant us a perfect healing, bring peace to all our days. Restore our strength of body, help clarify our minds, refresh our tired spirits, rejuvenate our light.
Tonight, as with many others, I am in shock, I'm angry, and I mourn for the women and birthing parents in Texas. Following the most restrictive abortion ban in the nation, which deputizes strangers to become bounty hunters for women seeking autonomy about their own medical decisions, I'm further committed to preserve the rights for women and those who seek control over their own bodies. I've personally written much on abortion, including my rabbinic thesis on biomedical ethics and given talks on the topic. But I'm not a potential birthing parent, nor have I been through an experience like this. So since I literally have a pulpit, I'm going to use it to share the words from 3 female-identifying rabbis and let them offer their wisdom. Rabbi Emily Langowitz, with her co-author, Rabbi Joshua Fixler, on the Jewish view of abortion. Rabbi Diane Kohler-Weiss on the need for women's voices in our tradition. And I'll begin and end with Rabbi Rachel Press, who just today published her own story about her abortion. I'll start with some snippets from Rabbi Press. On the second night of Rosh Hashanah, in my second year of rabbinical school, I accidentally conceived. On my first bout of morning sickness during my Talmud course, my first pregnancy craving during Hebrew literature, I took my first pregnancy test in Rosh Chodesh Heshvan. I prayed. I read every piece of Jewish literature on abortion I could find. I read every opinion article on the internet about why I'm happy I had an abortion or how I came to regret my abortion. I made a pros and cons list. I consulted the would-be father and my rabbinic mentor. I cried on the phone with my mom. Ultimately, made the choice using the wisdom inside of myself and heeding no one's opinion but my own, and perhaps God's. We Jews are commanded in the lines from this week's Torah portion, it's Avim. I put before you today blessing and curse, life and death. Uvacharta v'chayim. Choose life. The commandment, choose life, has been co-opted as a rallying cry for those who support restrictions on abortion, such as the Texas ban that went into effect this week. But for me and many others, this verse is a clear rebuttal to that law, the most significant infringement on abortion rights in nearly 50 years. So let me take a brief moment from Rabbi Press's story and turn to Rabbi Langowitz, share a bit more about the Jewish perspective on abortion. This is actually from their soon-to-be released chapter in the Jewish Social Justice Commentary, coming out in a few months, and is released early today. This chapter was released early today because of what happened in the news. Rabbi Langowitz writes, a study by the Pew Research Center found that 83% of American Jews say that abortion should be legal in all or most cases. American Jews' widespread support for permissive abortion laws finds grounding in Jewish tradition's approach to pregnancy and its end. Though the Torah makes no specific mention to any process resembling the modern-day medical procedure, in the book of Exodus, we do have some guidance on the termination of a pregnancy. Exodus 21 reads, when individuals fight and one of them pushes a pregnant woman and a miscarriage results, but no other damage ensues, the one responsible should be fined according to the woman's husband and how much he chooses to exact, based on the reckoning. But if other damage ensues, the penalty will be a life for a life, an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, hand for a hand, foot for a foot, burn for burn, wound for wound, bruise for bruise. This passage contrasts two scenarios in which two men are fighting and accidentally strike a nearby pregnant woman. The permutations differ only in whom and what is harmed. In the first, only the fetus is lost, and the punishment is a monetary fine paid to the woman's husband. In the second, the woman herself is harmed or killed. There, the punishment is retributive. Retributive? Thank you. An eye for an eye, or nephesh, literally a soul for a soul. From this, our tradition derives the value of a woman as a full status of a person, while the fetus, though valued, has a lesser status. The Mishnah, says Langowitz, expands this understanding of differential value by stating that if a woman's life is threatened in childbirth, the fetus inside her can be destroyed. It says in the Mishnah, Chaya kodim l'chayav. Her life comes before the fetus's. Though the graphic language of the text, the Mishnaic author leaves no ambiguity as to whose life takes precedent. This text in Exodus and the Mishnah sets the standard from which all other Jewish law on abortion comes. Later commentators debate in great detail the implications of this text, particularly the breadth or the narrowness of what it means to threaten the life of the woman. Some are more permissive, and some are more restrictive. But in the end, all permit and value the mother's life. From the outset, Judaism can and does imagine instances when abortion is permitted and even required. So we return to Rabbi Press, who adds more detail. The mother's physical needs and pain levels are prioritized over the birthing child's, according to two scholars. According to Rabbi Mordechai Winkler, her mental health is prioritized over the birth of the child. According to Rabbi Uziel, her dignity and her honor were prioritized over the birth of the child. This means that the primary consideration in the Jewish question about abortion is the needs of the person giving birth, their life, their health, their dignity. The Texas law denies human dignity. And that is the major issue in this law, says Press, in our country. And no, actually, this is me now. Sorry, forgot the quotation mark. And that is a major issue in this law in our country, in our Jewish history. Langowitz and Fixler comment on how even in Exodus, where we have the beginning of the Jewish view on this complicated topic, we have the injustice of a silenced person. The text of Exodus 21 begins with an act of violence against a pregnant woman, yet she is absent from all their conversation. Only her husband is consulted for the retribution. Across the centuries, says Langowitz, almost all the voices of Jewish interpretation, and in modern times as well, fail to acknowledge her story. The interpreters miss the opportunity to see her as a subject rather than an object. To see the woman in this text as merely a hypothetical and a legal case study denies the very real people and what they experience. This brings us to our third scholar. Rabbi Dan Kohler-Weiss reminds us that the Bible reflects a time where men controlled property, politics, and religious life, not to mention the women in their lives. Yet, says Kohler-Weiss, there's room to grow. First, there are many powerful female characters in the biblical stories who transform the world. Second, the text does command us to aid the marginalized and those who seek justice. And third, our covenant is inclusive and ever expanding. And this portion, Nitzavim, exemplifies this as the portion begins. We stand, all of us, before God, specifically naming the women of the community. It is crucial, says Kohler-Weiss, that women are included, standing before God as part of this covenantal relationship. She continues, the covenant is made not only with those who stand in that day, but all of us, every Jew who stands in that covenant and its evolving nature. We, those who read Torah now, are empowered to forge our own relationship to the contents of that ongoing revelation. Our tradition is not fixed. Quite the contrary, says Kohler-Weiss, as this portion reminds us, the Torah is far from static. It is fluid. We create our own revelation. As it says in this portion, the Torah is not in the heavens. It is close to us. It is for us to move. Taking together all the words of these sages, Rabbi Press, Rabbi Langowitz, and Rabbi Kohler-Weiss, our tradition permits and sometimes requires abortion. Our tradition centers the rights of the individual to control their own bodies and their own decisions. And our covenant with God is ongoing. And our responsibility to continue to change the world, to seek holiness for all. We are commanded to protect, honor, and support those in need. And after the events of the past week, which is part of a decades and millennia-long odyssey against women, we must step up, continuing to reform the covenant and to do what is right and what is just. I'll close with Rabbi Press's own words. She writes, there is nothing more sacred than the right to live one's own life as one chooses, to choose life and to choose blessing. And having an abortion, I chose my life. Now I will do what I can to ensure that others, including the countless women, non-binary individuals, and trans man affected by the new law in Texas, I will do what I can to retain the sacred choice to make their own choices and their own blessings. Page 282. The top of the page, Aleinu L'Shabeach. If it is your custom and you're able to rise, we welcome you to do so. Aleinu L'Shabeach, the top of 282.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת עוזו בגובהי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Please be seated for those who stood. Page 294. Think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, who died at this season in years past, those whom we've drawn into our hearts with our own. We're going to appear the Shiva, the 7 days of mourning for Neil Livster, husband of the late Laureline Livster, brother-in-law of Joanne and Tom Hornston. We're going to appear the Shloshim, the 30 days of mourning for Donna Joan Comer, mother of Nancy Fishman, Robert Riveredo, brother-in-law of Stanley Fishman, Ann Switzer, mother of Deb Klein, mother-in-law of Charles, grandmother of Saul and Ira, Yaakov Naor, husband of Ellen, father of Tali and Ayel, brother of Yisrael, Rina and Zvika, father-in-law of Rob and Maria, grandfather of Rachel, Joseph, and Daniel, grandfather-in-law of Hari. Thank you. David Katz, husband of Karen, father of Rob and Dan, brother of Martha, Judith, and Jeanette, nephew of Wilma, father-in-law of Clara and Veronica, grandfather of Elon, Armand, Rosa, and Jean Louise. We were in the yard site, the anniversary of passing, for Miriam Ephron, friend of Temple Beth Am, Rudolph Fellner, father of Jane, Allison Ferris, sister of Sarah Kremen Hicks, Esther Hannah Fishman, mother of Stanley, Cheryl Friedman, wife of William, Peter Genitosio, father of Alan, Lee Gendler, brother of Goldie Silverman, Florence Gross, friend of Temple Beth Am, Alice Hornbuckle, mother of Krista Kirk, Dorothy Hornston, mother of Tom, Pamela Jacobs, mother of Teresa, Martin Keene, father of Sharon, John Kennelly, father of Michael, Jonathan Lazarus, brother of Abby Sloan, Juliana Lerner, mother of Thomas, Gladys Levine, grandfather of Jason, Paul Levitin, husband of Elaine, father of Alicia, Sarah Linsky, mother of Yetta, grandmother of Aline, Marie Magnus Palmer, mother of Yetla Etlinger, Mary Miller, mother of Robert, Ida Olson, mother of Gary, Kenneth Rosen, father of Sam, Marie Rubin, father of Janet Newman, Helen Silverman, aunt of Jason Levine, Carl Simpson, father of Dwayne Bradley, grandfather of Flora and Owen, Amy Louise Spencer, mother of Helen, Charles Wenger, father of Susan Simon, Esther Weber, mother of Brenna, Abe Wexler, father of Barbara Shikiar, Marion Zach, mother of Karen, Marvin Zach, father of Karen. Many names have been mispronounced or should be included on our list. We welcome you to add them to the chat or to share them out loud at this time. We also think of all those who lost their lives in Hurricane Ida this past week. If you're in the period of Shiva, the first 7 days of mourning, you're welcome to rise. If you're in the period of Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning, you're welcome to rise. If you're in the first year of mourning, you're welcome to rise. you're observing a yard site on this Shabbat, you're welcome to rise. And if it is your tradition to rise in solidarity and love, please do so as we join in the Mourner's Cottage, page 294. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah ve'alma dirach yirtei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon uvyomechon u'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael v'agala u'bizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mivarach le'olam u'lamei omaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalei v'yitalal shemei d'kudashah b'richu ve'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nachamata da'amiram be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim alenu ve'akol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'marmav hu ya'asei shalom alenu ve'akol Yisrael ve'akol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. Yoshvei tevel, all who dwell on the earth. Please be seated. Let's take a moment as we reach towards the conclusion of our Shabbat services for a time of simcha, a time of joy. So if something has happened in this past week that has been wonderful or happy or enjoyable, and if you'd like to add it to the chat, there's our camera, you're more than welcome to. Does anybody have something joyful, happy, wonderful they want to share so we can enjoy some good in this beautiful Shabbat? Son started pre-K. How'd that go?
Cute.
Excellent. Let's hope that lasts. Excellent. Good for him. Anyone else? Say again? That's awesome.
Oh, yay.
Wow.
Oh, that's good to hear.
It's really impressive. Launched the free school and after school? Wow. We have a lot of great things to celebrate, a lot of great moments ahead. Please check the website for the high holidays and check your email for details if you'll be joining us in person. And a reminder to everyone here and everyone at home, because of our preparations for the high holidays, services will be Zoom only tomorrow, not YouTube and not in the sanctuary, only on Zoom. So we hope you do join us tomorrow, but we hope you enjoy us from the comfort of your own home. And we will be, our facilities team will be busy getting ready. Woo! All right. What we doing, Rabbi Dana?
I think we're going to do some Oseh Shalom.
I like Oseh Shalom.
Extra piece.
I like that.
So join me for Oseh Shalom. It can be found on page 343. Oseh Shalom, Shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Oseh Shalom, Shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Hu ya'aseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al yoshvei tevel. Oseh Shalom, Shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Ve'al kol Yisrael, amen.
We'll do Kiddush together and then Motzi. Kiddush can be found on page number 5 to conclude our service. There is a challah under here that one of you in person are going to take home with you. So think about it now and don't be shy. I'm not taking it home because my wife's gluten-free, so that means I do the whole thing by myself. That's not happening. So someone of you take a challah home with you. But we'll start with Kiddush on page, please, page
yes.
number 5. No, I'm going to let you do that.
You sure? All right.
Yeah, I'm not trusting myself.
At least it's
Yeah.
the new carpet, right? No, oh,
At least
just kidding.
Davita's about to jump a bit. Okay, sorry, Davita. Carpet's clean.
The carpet's clear. So join with me on page 5 as we take in this moment together of the sanctity of Shabbat, this last taste of sweetness of Shabbat before we enter into the new year. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, b'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit, ki hu yom techila lemikrae kodesh, zecher l'tzion mitzrayim, ki vanu v'acharta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, ve'shabbat kodshecha, ve'ahava uvratzon, hinchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha-shabbat.
L'chaim. All right, challah time. And for the challah aficionados out there, this is the last straight challah for a little bit, because some people have the tradition of having a round challah during the high holidays, representing the seasons and the circle of life and all the round imagery. So there's some along with the other hobbies many of us have picked up during the pandemic, challah making has become a very big part of people's lives. So who would like the last straight?
It's on a curve.
This one's slightly curved. The last
my-
crescent moon challah of the season. Done. I'll bring it to you in a moment. Feel like a auctioneer. But we can enjoy the beautiful bread and the beautiful moment of connecting together here and at home with the words of Motzi.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz, v'te'avot.
Shabbat Shalom and an early Shana Tova.
Shabbat Shalom, Shana Tova.
See you online tomorrow morning.
Yes, see you online tomorrow.